Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new, please like and subscribe so you can see when I do upload new next videos and anytime I'm doing something new with my channel. On this channel I'm going to be making, so I'm at the beginning stages of learning how to cash stuff and budgeting myself for a zero-based budget. Basically I use all my income to allocate my money down to zero so that I am saving money and so on and so forth. So on this video, as you can see, I am using some cardstock, and I did this as a beginner for myself, but also my son is actually learning the process of cash budgeting. So he did get paid this past week and he wanted to give me some extra money, and he said, "Mom, can you go ahead and start me the process of cash stuffing?" Because I had told him, like, I think it'd be a good idea to start learning how to budget yourself. So with this, I am creating my own his cash envelopes. I do have my own budget planners, but this is just a way so he can start having a little bit of cash stuffing envelopes. And I wanted to go ahead and do something real easy and simple that you guys could follow along with. It's not perfect by all means, it's not, but it is something to start. If you guys especially if you guys have like crafts or laying around, you can just grab whatever you have available and not have to go to the effort of going and buying all these different kind of binders or envelopes, things that yes, it's nice to have, but also as a starting point, you can use these as a way to start yourself off, especially if you want to learn how to budget. You don't want to use that money toward anything that you can use while you have on hand. So basically I had cardstock paper that I have had from previous years of projects that I would do either with my kids or business that I have myself. And so I decided for him, I was like, oh, let me go ahead and use some bold red and blue combination and combine those to make his own cash stuffing. So what you can see here is I used basically an index card, the width of an index card, and I extended it maybe into about 7 inches long from the cardstock, and I mean it was perfect. And it's just basically taking an envelope and measuring it out that way. But so basically I used all as much page as I could. As you can see, I got 3 cuts out of each page, so that was enough to make 3 envelopes for me. So, and I wanted to do I was gonna go with all blue or red, but I decided to go ahead and just change it up. And then if you guys ever you'll see further on what I did with why I created them so differently. But so as you can see, I'm just getting some scissors, cutting them out, and then I had you can see that I'm just going along, just cutting each one, and like I said, I got 3 out of each page. It's perfect enough to make one side for 3 envelopes, right? So and I might be able to use some of that leftover scrap paper. I'm not sure. I have to look at it really to see, but as you can see, we just went ahead and used what I had. And so this is just a way, guys, just to help you guys start the process. And at that, I made 3 of them for my son. I'm not going grandiose with it as far as creating like 10, 11 of them. I'm in the process of creating my own envelopes as well, so I have more than he does, but for him to start, I think 3 would be a good. Anybody who wants to start, just to put that extra cash, and say you maybe you don't have that money available right then in that moment. or you want to put a couple of the extra dollars that you have, this, at least it keeps you from being overwhelmed with too many envelopes and say, oh my gosh, I got to put this much money in between 5, 8, different envelopes. And with this, no, you, at least if you start with 3, you can say, okay, I can at least set a couple of dollars here and there for each envelope and start the process, and know that you are you feel more successful in doing it that way rather than trying to overwhelm yourself. And I will say, guys, cash stuffing for me has been a game changer. As I'm doing the process, I've learned that, okay, what money I don't have in the bank, or what money I have in the bank is totally toward my bills. So I know that I cannot touch that money. I don't want to touch that money because that money is going toward my bills. But with me cash stuffing, I have my little envelopes, my binders, everything that I have put away into those. I'm not so much tempted to touch them. It might sound crazy because you do have like cash laying around basically, but you're less tempted to touch it because you know that if you touch that money, you're taking away from your chance at a challenge yourself, or at a saving for something big, in the future. So every time you go and grab an envelope and you're like, oh my gosh, I could just take this 20 out of here and use it towards something that I want right then and there. A need and versus a want is totally different, but I understand if you have that emergency, and that's why, you start an emergency cash envelope, so you can have those on hand whenever you find the need that you do have that emergency need, or But really, it has really been a game changer by doing these envelopes. I feel so much more like relieved in knowing that, yes, I have that money put aside. I have money in all these envelopes or all these binders, and don't feel so tempted to go and spend money. Because I would tell you, using my card, it was just a matter of like, oh, well, yeah, I got a couple bucks I can spare from the bank, and just go spend money at the stores, and never really capturing how much money I'm actually wasting in that way. So this has really been a very much big game changer. I think for my son, with these 3 envelopes, it's going to be eye-opening for him as he's giving me his money, because he was like, Mom, just go ahead, do it, if you could just start me the process, and I'll give you the money and you just break it down into my whatever, however you want to do it. And so that's what I'm doing here for him. I created these 3 envelopes, and as time goes on, maybe, and as he gets more into knowing how much money he's saving by doing that, I think he'll end up wanting to have more, or I'll end up adding more envelopes for him, just for his extra spending stuff that he can have, instead of using his money toward that he could use toward his bills. And my son is an adult, of course he can do this, but I'm teaching myself as I'm doing this. I'm trying to teach him what I've been able to do, and letting him understand why it's so beneficial for him to start at his young age, because he's only 22. But for him to start at this point in his life, I wish I would have done that when they were younger, when they were kids, started them, I wish for myself, but to teach him now at this point, I might as well get a head start of it, and then he could start learning how to, as he goes on in his life, So as you guys can see, I've cut all 6 pieces that I'm going to use to make my cash envelope. Next thing I did was I'm taping. So it's not perfect, guys. I'm not going to say it's perfect. I've thought about printing out some sticker labels to label each one, but I guess for time constraints, plus also for just because the point is for things that you have on hand, whether it's markers, whether it's, if you have a Cricut, if you have those cutting machines, if you have anything that you can use to create your own sticker labels, by all means use them. But this is for people that, are at the beginning of the phase and want to create an envelope and don't have the means for a cutting machine. Eventually I will start cutting my own, and doing my own envelopes and labels and stuff like that. But I wanted to make this about doing what you have on hand. You could use paper, you could use any kind of paper to get yourself started. Even if you have those envelopes, you could use that. But it's just a way to maybe hold yourself accountable by saying, okay, I took the time to make these, let's go ahead and start using them for what they were made for. And so basically, you guys see I'm using a packing tape, and the packing tape, I got all this stuff really, I think, is all from Dollar Tree. Well, the cardstock I've had, I think I got that from Hobby Lobby a couple years ago, and I've had it, but I've never used it. So I was like, I might as well use it. I have it for a reason. And so I used packing tape that I went and got from the Dollar Tree. No, not much money, there using. Then I'm just wrapping the packing tape around the cardstock just so I could tape it together. And I thought about using glue, but the glue takes up a lot of space around the edges that it takes away from how you can put your money in the envelope. So I just decided to use packing tape instead, and it's not perfect. And maybe, maybe if you do have a better packing tape that will go on more smoothly, you by all means use whatever tape you have. But this worked. It wasn't perfect, but I was able to get them wrapped. And I just used, 2 layers of packing tape to wrap around each envelope. And at the edge, I left a little bit of overhang on the edge so I could seal the bottom. Because of course we want to make sure we have at least one bottom sealed. So I hung the tape a little bit, and as you can see, it is a process. It takes especially to get that tape to go on a straight pattern or a straight line. But as you can see, I'm just overhanging it a little bit, and then I wrap it around. And I try to keep it on the table, guys, but it was more easier to just lift it off the table. So I was trying to give y'all the good, good view of it. See, and I didn't get a straight line, so I pulled it up a little bit, which is probably good. You use cardstock because it doesn't tear as much with the tape, and maybe that tape too is not that very much strong of a grip, so it's just easier to wrap it around your cardstock. And like I said, guys, you can use any tape, even if you decided to use masking tape. And you don't have to use, maybe a masking tape on notebook paper would probably make it more sturdier, and the fact that it won't be colored, it won't be thick, but maybe masking tape could be another source of, supply that you could use on your envelope. And it's just whatever you guys have on hand. That's the whole point of this, is just to use what you have on hand to be able to, create those envelopes for yourself and start the process of cash stuffing. And, I was thinking about it the other day as I was doing this, and I was thinking about like yes, I could go to the store, even when we were talking about going to TJ Maxx, and I was like, oh, well, I have a gift card for TJ Maxx, which easily I could go and use that up. and which is good thing that you use gift cards, but also, to even think about the fact that, well, if I end up going to another store after the fact, then I'm gonna use money because I don't have any other, gift card for anywhere else. Yes, I could just limit myself to TJ Maxx, but it's all the things, the what ifs is what I was thinking. And so, knowing that I put money aside into my cash envelopes at home, they stay at home, I am not tempted to use my debit card at all. Yeah, I have my credit cards. That is debt I'm trying to get out of, clean up, so I don't even pull my credit cards. My credit cards typically are for last minute emergency or last minute thing that we really need, and really not so much need, but just in case, money. And so I don't try to use my credit cards. Debit card is my go-to for everything. And so knowing that I've pulled money out of the bank, put it away in my home and my cash stuffing, I know that I'm bettering myself because I'm not tempting myself to get that money, So this process is just a long process of me going through each envelope and creating it. So I'll probably fast forward through here, guys, while y'all watch. Alright guys, so on this next part, I'm just showing you the completed look, and what I'm going to add as far as what I'm going to label each envelope. You see I got a permanent marker. It was a Sharpie, nothing fancy. I didn't do any stickers, didn't do anything, to make it pretty. I just wanted to create something fast and simple, easy, on-hand stuff that I have. And basically I'm just creating an emergency envelope on my first one. And again, these are for my son, so these are ones I'm going to be creating for him. And then the next one, I believe I put it for shopping, no, gas. So he does have his own vehicle, of course, and that way he can have his own gas pocket whenever he needs, gas money. Because my son does use typically his own credit card too, but he's trying to not use it, and use that more towards things that he may need that are important. And then the last one I created, because he doesn't do a lot of shopping other than probably his games. He works, plays his games, and pretty much that's it. So I created just a shopping one for him, and that's pretty simple. And then also on the back side, guys, I did create some wording on the other side as well, just in case he ever wanted to change it up. And you can use double-sided. So guys, as you can see, I have my 3 envelopes that I labeled: gas, shopping, and emergency. I will do that on the other side, the red side, and I labeled those clothes, miscellaneous, and food, just in case my son wants to change it up. You guys do not have to limit yourself just to those 3. If you completed one side and you want to move it to another binder, or an envelope system that you have, then you can do that. Or even if you spent it, you can do that, and then you can start fresh with the new label on the other side, and be that you want to save that for your next go round. So as you guys, I hope you guys try this out. Let me know if you do, and maybe you realize, hey, I do have some stuff I could use that I've had, and I'm not putting use to it right now, but I can use that as a way to create my own cash stuffing. But if you do, guys, give me a thumbs up. Also, leave a comment that you did create your own envelope using this idea. It doesn't have to be fancy, guys. Remember that cash stuffing can be fun. It is exciting to know that people are cash stuffing and trying to get themselves out of debt and better their lives by not being stressed with money. So guys, if you could please like and follow, and also watch out for the next video. I am going to be showing how I cash stuff my son's money that he did give me from his last paycheck, so I could start this process for him, and I will be showing that in my next video. I will see you in the next video, guys, but please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Much love, guys.